Meth says, last question, and I'll let you go. You've told me this before, but I don't think it's ever been printed. Your solution for Israel and the Middle East, please. Okay, here's the story. It's got to be 10 or 15 years ago when I get a call from the USIA, the U.S. Information Agency, the ones who do all the propaganda for the United States government. And they said, Mr. Ellison, we've had a request for you to come and lecture in Israel. As an American Jewish writer who is very popular, your works have been reprinted over there many times, they'd like you to come and lecture in Haifa at the university. So I said, yeah, that's all right. Now, in truth, I have about as much interest in going to Israel as I do in going to Germany, into which I have never set foot. That's one of the 3 or 4 things I'll never do. I did a list of things I will never do in my life. I will never do an ad for McDonald's. I will never step foot in Germany. I will never eat lima beans. I would never harm a child, and I will never voluntarily read a book by Judith Krantz. Those are 5 of the things that are uppermost in my life. So then when I say voluntarily, I mean if you put a gun to my head, I probably would read a book by Judith Krantz, but I wouldn't like it. As for lima beans, as I have often said, you show me someone who will eat a lima bean without a gun to the head, and I will show you a pervert. So get back to where I was. An entire nation of people who are like my relatives, a whole country of yentas and kvetches, is not my idea of a good time. Now, I would love to see Petra. I would love to see the pyramids of Egypt. But I really have no interest in going to Israel. But what the hell, free trip, and Susan and I would go, and we would do whatever, and maybe I would get to Petra while I'm there. So I say, sure, I could do that, and they're going to pay me a nice fee. First class. Okay. About a week goes by, and USIA calls me again, and they said, they would like to do interviews with you prior to your arrival so they can warm the country up for your coming. And I said, that's terrific. And they said, well, the Jerusalem Post will be calling you, which is one of the biggest newspapers in the world. And I said, great, and thank you very much, and I'm looking forward to going, and blah, 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 and all that bullshit. Now, I'm not going to exaggerate this. I'm going to tell us exactly as it happened. So one morning soon thereafter, as the crow flies, I get a call from a guy, and I can't remember what his name was, but let's call him Eliezer Ben Yehudi. And he calls and he says, hello, this is Eliezer Ben Yehudi, and I am the senior editorial reporter for the Jerusalem Post, and I would love to interview you. And I said, just fire away. And the first out of his mouth is, what do you, as an American Jew, think of the situation in the Middle East? And I said to him, well, why would you ask me that? I'm a writer. I write amusing little fantasies. I'm a professional liar. I'm not a political commentator. I don't know what you people are going through over there. I have no comment. I have no opinion. No, he says, we're anxious to hear what you think. And he nudges and pushes at me. Already I know I'm going to hate Israel. And he keeps saying, I want to know what you think. We want to know what you want. And he sounds like Jackie Mason. So I say, listen, trust me, you don't want my opinion. Yeah, he screams, we want your opinion. We're dying for your opinion. We're plotting to have your opinion. He goes on and on and on. He will not let me off the hook. So finally, I reach the Plimsoll line and I say, okay, but remember the old Chinese adage, be careful what you wish for because you might get it. And he goes, ha, 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 extremely clever. So, what is your opinion? And I said, here's my opinion. All of you guys out there in the Middle East are out of the same melting pot. And you're all as crazy as a butterfly on absinthe. I don't know whether you're all Canaanites at the base, or you're all Jews at the base, or out of the land of Nod, or whatever the hell you were at the get-go, Semites or whatnot. But you've been fighting there now for something like 8,000 years, and you've never had 5 minutes of quiet and peace. You're forever killing each other, and sticking knives at each other, and burning babies. And the world has had to suffer with this. Great things have come out of the Middle East. Great things like the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. But stupidity seems to be your chief export. Stupidity and violence are your cash crops. All you. And this was before September 11th. And I said, my solution to the problem in the Middle East is this. We erect a wall 26 miles high around the entire Middle East, about 14 miles deep. That's Syria, Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Iran, Israel, Egypt, all of you. The whole bunch of you. 26 miles high with one door, like a regular door in the foot of a house. And every 10 years we will open the door and look inside. If you're still fighting, we close the door, and as we say in Yiddish, lassen gehen, let be. You should live and be well. Go and fight and kill yourselves, and no one will interfere. But if we peek inside and it's safe, if it's nice and it's comfy, and there's flowers growing, if you're not fighting and you got peace and quiet, you can come out and play with the rest of us like human people. And the guy says, what? And I said, do you want me to repeat that? And he says, no, thank you very much. Bam! He hangs up on me. Within an hour, USIA calls up and says, tour's off. And I tell you, I was relieved. Being a tough Jew is like being a tough Oriental kid in an all-black neighborhood. It's like being an Irish kid in a Latino neighborhood. When you're an outsider, you got two choices. You either become a target for people to hit you, to bully you, and con you, to take advantage of you, and you wind up marrying people you shouldn't, and you wind up in a job you shouldn't have with people who bully you, or you get tough. Now, tough doesn't mean hard. I'm not a hard guy. I'm a tough guy. That means that I take no shit, and I'm wrong more often than I'm right, and when I am, I admit it. And that's another part of being a tough guy. When you're in the wrong, you got to face up to it, and you've got to take responsibility for it. You can't keep pushing it off with alibis on other people, and you can never blame the fact that you are a Jew. You can't play that card. That's what gets the goyim pissed at us. We just had a little fender bender up here in the mountain where I live, and I'm talking to the woman at AAA, and she starts talking about you people. She was a black woman, so she probably didn't know she was actually quoting the evil, bogus thoughts and philosophies of the bullshit protocols of the elders of Zion. But that's what she was doing. I tried to straighten her out, but it was impossible. It's widespread common lore that Jews own everything, to which my response is, well, if there is actually a great international Jewish money conspiracy, there's some Jew out there with 2 shares because I'm working my ass off. You got to be able to accept responsibility for what you do. And you've got to be able to try and convince a lot of people who aren't bad people. They're just ignorant. Not stupid, just ignorant. Big difference. That Jews are not the arrogant, all-knowing, chosen people. That is as elitist bullshit as the Christians who think that when the rapture comes, they're going up and we're going down. That's just elitism. And it's a bad kind of elitism, as opposed to my elitism, which is based on intelligence, which is a good elitism. And if you don't like it, I'll punch the shit out of you.